Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video titled Signs Your Body Needs Rest More Than Sleep. We live in a culture that glorifies hustle, where being tired is almost a badge of honor. We're constantly told that if we feel exhausted, the simple fix is to get more sleep. But what if you're getting your 8 hours, you're going to bed on time, and you still wake up feeling completely drained, foggy, and just off? It's a frustrating cycle, and one that I see a lot in my practice and hear about from so many of you. You might start to think something is wrong with you, but the answer is often much more nuanced than just needing more time in bed. The truth is, sleep and rest are not the same thing. Sleep is a vital biological function, a non-negotiable for our physical health. But rest? Rest is about restoration, and it comes in many different forms. You can be well slept but still be deeply unrested. Your mind, your emotions, your creative spirit, even your social battery, they all need their own specific kind of rest to recharge. It's like trying to charge your phone with the wrong cable. You can plug it in all night, but you'll wake up with zero battery. So in this video, we'll help you recognize the overlooked signs that your body, mind, and even your emotions are craving real rest, not just sleep. We're going to dive into 7 specific signs that indicate you're running on empty in different areas of your life. By the end, you'll have a much clearer understanding of what your body is trying to tell you, and, more importantly, what you can do about it to finally feel truly refreshed and energized. Let's get into it. Let's start with a feeling that can be incredibly confusing: emotional exhaustion. This is when you feel a deep sense of weariness that seems to come from nowhere. You've slept a full 8 hours, maybe even 9. You haven't had a particularly stressful day or a major argument. Yet you feel hollowed out, like your emotional well has run completely dry. You might find yourself feeling numb, detached, or unable to muster the energy to care about things that usually matter to you. It's a heavy blanket of fatigue that a good night's sleep just can't seem to lift. This is a classic sign that you don't need more sleep. You need emotional rest. Emotional rest is about having the space and freedom to express your feelings authentically and to offload the emotional labor you carry every day. Think about it. How often do you have to put on a brave face? How often are you the strong one for your friends, family, or co-workers, listening to their problems while bottling up your own? This constant performance, this need to be accommodating and pleasant, is incredibly draining. It's like holding a physically heavy object for hours on end. Eventually, your muscles give out. The same thing happens to our emotional capacity. When you're constantly filtering your responses and managing others' emotions, you're depleting your own reserves. This is especially true for people in caregiving roles or high-empathy professions. But honestly, it applies to almost everyone in our modern, interconnected world. We're expected to be on all the time, both in person and online, and that performance takes a significant toll. You're not just tired, you're carrying the weight of unspoken feelings and unmet emotional needs. So how do you get emotional rest? It starts with giving yourself permission to be less than perfect. It means finding a safe space to be vulnerable. This could be talking to a trusted friend who is a genuinely good listener, someone who won't immediately jump in with advice but will just hold space for you. It could be journaling, where you can pour out all your unfiltered thoughts and feelings without any fear of judgment. The goal is to let the emotional pressure valve release. Sometimes emotional rest also means reducing your exposure to emotionally taxing situations. It might mean taking a break from that one friend who only ever calls to complain, or limiting your time on social media if it leaves you feeling drained and comparative. It's about setting boundaries that protect your emotional energy. You can't be a source of support for others if your own well is empty. It's not selfish, it's a necessary act of self-preservation. Recognizing this need is the first, most crucial step. The next time you feel that unexplainable emotional exhaustion, instead of berating yourself for being tired, ask yourself a different question. When was the last time I let myself feel my true emotions without judgment? The answer might surprise you and point you toward the kind of rest you truly need. It's about creating moments where you don't have to perform for anyone, including yourself. Here's another common one that we often mistake for just being in a bad mood. Do you find yourself snapping at your partner over something trivial, like leaving a cup on the counter? Or maybe you feel a surge of intense frustration when you hit a red light, or a wave of anxiety when your boss adds one more small task to your to-do list. This heightened irritability, this feeling of being constantly on edge and easily overwhelmed, isn't necessarily a character flaw. It's often a clear signal from your nervous system that it's in overdrive and desperately needs a break. Think of your capacity to handle stress like a cup. When you're well rested, your cup is mostly empty, and you have plenty of room to handle the minor annoyances and unexpected challenges of daily life. A spilled coffee or a traffic jam is just a small splash that your cup can easily contain. But when you're running on fumes, your cup is already filled to the brim with accumulated stress, mental clutter, and sensory input. That one extra drop, that one small inconvenience, is enough to make the whole thing overflow. That overflow is what feels like irrational anger, frustration, or a complete shutdown. This is a sign that you need sensory and nervous system rest. Our modern environment is a constant assault on our senses. The bright screens of our phones and computers, the constant ping of notifications, the background noise of the city, the open-plan office chatter, it all adds up. Your brain is constantly processing this barrage of information, and your nervous system is in a low-grade state of fight or flight. Sleep can help reset your body physically, but it doesn't necessarily calm this hyper-aroused state. You can wake up from 8 hours of sleep and immediately be thrown back into that sensory storm, and your cup fills right back up. So, what does sensory rest look like? It's about intentionally creating moments of quiet and stillness in your day. It could be as simple as closing your eyes for 5 minutes in a quiet room, away from any screens. Turn off the music in the car on your way home from work and just drive in silence. Put your phone in another room for an hour in the evening. The goal is to reduce the amount of input your brain has to process, giving your nervous system a chance to downshift and regulate itself. This also extends to creating a more calming environment. Dimming the lights in the evening can signal to your brain that it's time to wind down. Using noise-canceling headphones for a portion of your workday can be a game changer if you're in a loud environment. Even something as simple as decluttering your workspace can reduce visual noise and create a sense of calm. These small, intentional acts of sensory deprivation can have a profound effect on your overall feeling of well-being. The next time you feel that surge of irritation over something minor, pause. Instead of reacting, recognize it for what it is, a distress signal. Your body isn't asking for a fight, it's asking for peace. It's asking for a moment of silence, a break from the noise, a chance to let your nervous system come back to a state of equilibrium. It's not about needing more sleep to get over it, but about needing intentional quiet to truly recover. We've all experienced brain fog. It's that feeling like your head is full of cotton, where thinking feels slow and difficult. You might struggle to find the right word, forget why you walked into a room, or find it impossible to concentrate on a task that normally would be easy. The common assumption is that brain fog is a direct result of sleep deprivation. And while that can certainly be a cause, what happens when you're getting plenty of sleep but the fog just won't lift? You wake up and it feels like your brain is still buffering, struggling to load the software for the day. This persistent mental fatigue is a telltale sign that you need mental rest. Our brains are constantly working, even when we don't realize it. We're making hundreds of small decisions every day, from what to wear to how to respond to an email. We're problem-solving at work, planning our weekends, and worrying about the future. This non-stop cognitive load is like running a marathon for your brain. Just as your muscles would be sore and exhausted after a physical marathon, your brain becomes exhausted from a mental one. Sleep gives it a break, but if you wake up and jump right back into intense mental activity, you're not giving it time to truly recover. Mental rest is about giving your brain a chance to switch off and stop the constant churn of thinking, planning, and problem-solving. It's about letting go of the need to be productive and analytical for a little while. Think about how you spend your downtime. Are you scrolling through social media, which requires your brain to process a rapid succession of images and information? Are you watching a complex TV show that requires you to follow intricate plot lines? While these activities might feel relaxing, they are still engaging your brain in a significant way. They aren't true mental rest. So how do you achieve genuine mental rest? One of the most effective ways is to schedule short breaks throughout your workday. The Pomodoro technique is a great example of this, working in focused 25-minute bursts, followed by a 5-minute break where you do something completely non-cognitive. Get up, stretch, look out the window, or make a cup of tea. The key is to not use that break to check your email or scroll through news headlines. You're trying to create a mental pause. Another powerful tool for mental rest is mindfulness or meditation. Even just a few minutes of focusing on your breath can help quiet the mental chatter and give your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making and focus, a much-needed break. Keeping a notepad by your bed can also be helpful. If you find your mind racing with to-do lists at night, write them down. This act of offloading your thoughts onto paper can signal to your brain that it's safe to let go and stop thinking about them for a while. Ultimately, mental rest is about acknowledging that your brain is a finite resource. It's not a machine that can run at full capacity 24/7. When you experience that persistent brain fog despite getting enough sleep, it's a clear message. Your brain isn't broken, it's just begging for a pause. It's asking for a few moments of stillness, a break from the constant demand to think, analyze, and decide. Giving it that rest is what will truly clear the fog. Have you ever had a weekend approaching, and instead of looking forward to plans with friends or family, you feel a sense of dread? The thought of making conversation, of having to be on and engaged, feels utterly exhausting. It's not that you don't love these people, of course you do. But the idea of interacting with them feels like a monumental effort. You might find yourself making excuses to cancel plans, preferring to stay home alone, not because you're angry or upset, but because you simply don't have the energy for it. This isn't just being an introvert, though introverts might feel it more acutely. This is a sign of social exhaustion, indicating a deep need for social rest. Social rest is about consciously curating your social interactions to prioritize those that are life-giving and restorative, while taking a break from those that are draining. Not all social interactions are created equal. Some people and situations leave you feeling energized, inspired, and connected. Others, even with people you care about, can feel like a performance, leaving you feeling depleted. Think about the different roles you play. You might be the supportive friend, the cheerful colleague, the dutiful family member. Each of these roles requires a certain type of social energy. When you spend all your time in interactions that drain you, like superficial small talk, navigating difficult group dynamics, or being around people who are overly negative or demanding, your social battery gets completely wiped out. Sleep can't recharge this specific battery. You can sleep for 10 hours and still wake up dreading that big social event. Getting social rest means differentiating between the people who fill your cup and the people who empty it. It's about spending more time with those friends who you can be completely yourself with, where the conversation flows easily and you leave feeling better than when you arrived. It's about finding relationships where the connection feels mutually supportive and authentic. This is the kind of interaction that recharges your social battery. Social rest can also mean embracing solitude. It's not about isolation, which is a negative state of loneliness, but about choosing to spend time alone to reconnect with yourself. This is your chance to hear your own thoughts without the influence of others. It's a time to do things just for you, whether it's reading a book, going for a walk, or working on a hobby. This intentional time alone allows you to reset your social equilibrium so that when you do choose to engage with others, you can do so from a place of fullness rather than depletion. So, if you find yourself consistently avoiding social plans, don't just label yourself as antisocial or tired. Look deeper. Ask yourself which of your relationships are truly restorative and which are draining. It might be time to set some boundaries, to politely decline that draining invitation, and to instead schedule some quality time with a friend who makes you feel seen and heard, or even just some quality time with yourself. That is the kind of rest that will cure your social exhaustion. This one can be particularly alarming. You feel physically tired, deep in your bones. Your body feels heavy, your muscles ache, and even simple tasks like climbing a flight of stairs feel like a struggle. You go to your doctor, you get blood work done, and everything comes back normal. There's no underlying medical condition, no vitamin deficiency, no clear reason for this profound physical exhaustion. You're sleeping enough, so what's going on? Why does your body feel so incredibly weary? This is often a sign that your body is craving a different kind of physical rest. Not just the passive rest of sleep, but active, restorative rest. It seems counterintuitive, but sometimes the best antidote to a certain kind of physical fatigue isn't more time lying down, but rather gentle, restorative movement. Our bodies weren't designed to be completely sedentary, nor were they designed to be in a constant state of high-intensity stress. They need a balance of activity and recovery. When we're stressed, our bodies are flooded with hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. We hold tension in our shoulders, our necks, our jaws. This chronic muscle tension is exhausting. It's like your muscles are constantly in a low-grade flex, never getting a chance to fully release and relax. Sleep can help, but if you wake up and immediately jump back into a stressful day, that tension returns almost instantly. The fatigue you're feeling isn't just from a lack of sleep, it's from the accumulated physical toll of chronic stress. Restorative physical rest can take many forms. It could be gentle yoga or stretching, which helps to release that stored tension in your muscles and improve circulation. It's about moving your body in a way that feels good and nourishing, not punishing. A slow walk in nature, focusing on your breath and the feeling of your feet on the ground, can be incredibly restorative. It calms the nervous system and gently moves the body without adding more stress. This type of rest also includes things that directly soothe the body. Taking a warm bath with Epsom salts can help relax sore muscles. Using a foam roller or getting a massage can work out the deep knots of tension that have built up over time. Even something as simple as lying on the floor with your legs up the wall for 10 minutes can help calm your nervous system, reduce swelling in your legs, and give your body a chance to enter a state of deep relaxation that is different from sleep. So if you're experiencing that frustrating, medically unexplained physical fatigue, consider shifting your perspective. Instead of thinking I need to lie down more, try asking, how can I gently and lovingly move my body to release this tension? It's not about pushing through the fatigue with a hard workout. It's about listening to your body's request for gentle, restorative care. This active form of physical rest can be the key to releasing that deep-seated weariness and helping you feel light and energized in your own skin again. Let's talk about procrastination. We often see it as a moral failing, a sign of laziness or a lack of discipline. You have a project you're genuinely excited about, a hobby you love, or an important task you know you need to do. Yet you find yourself doing anything and everything to avoid it. You clean the entire house, scroll endlessly through your phone, or binge watch a new series. You feel guilty and frustrated with yourself, which only makes the cycle worse. But what if this procrastination isn't about laziness at all? What if it's a sign that you are creatively or mentally depleted? Think about it. Engaging with tasks that require creativity, strategic thinking, or deep focus demands a specific kind of energy. It requires inspiration, motivation, and the mental space to generate new ideas. When you're running on empty, your brain's natural defense mechanism is to conserve energy by steering you toward passive, low-effort activities. Procrastination in this context is a symptom of burnout, not a cause of it. This is a clear indicator that you need creative rest. Creative rest is about reawakening the sense of wonder, inspiration, and play in your life. We live in a world that is heavily focused on productivity and consumption. We consume content, we consume information, but we often forget to make time for activities that simply fill us with awe and beauty, with no goal or outcome attached. This is the food for our creative soul, and without it, we starve our ability to generate new ideas and feel motivated. Getting creative rest means intentionally exposing yourself to sources of inspiration. This could mean visiting an art gallery, a museum, or a botanical garden. It could be listening to a piece of music that moves you, reading a genre of book you've never tried before, or watching a beautifully shot film. The key is to experience art and beauty for its own sake, not to analyze it or turn it into another project. It's about letting yourself be a passive recipient of beauty and inspiration. Creative rest is also about engaging in play. When was the last time you did something just for fun, with no pressure to be good at it? It could be doodling, playing an instrument, dancing around your kitchen, or trying a new recipe. These activities tap into a different part of your brain than the analytical, problem-solving part you use all day. They are low stakes and joyful, and they can reignite that spark of curiosity and passion that procrastination has extinguished. So, the next time you find yourself stuck in a procrastination loop on something you truly care about, resist the urge to shame yourself. Instead, see it as a signal. Your mind isn't being lazy, it's being protective. It's telling you that your creative well is dry and you need to refill it. Step away from the task, and instead of forcing yourself to work, go do something that inspires you or brings you joy. You might find that after a dose of creative rest, the motivation you were looking for returns all on its own. Do you ever find yourself in the middle of a conversation, or even just sitting at your desk, and you suddenly realize you've completely zoned out? Your eyes are unfocused, staring at a random point on the wall, and you have no idea what was just said or how much time has passed. It can be embarrassing in a meeting, or feel like you're just losing focus. You might try to shake it off and force yourself to pay attention, but it keeps happening throughout the day. This frequent zoning out isn't just a lapse in attention. It's your brain's way of taking a forced break. When you are chronically overstimulated and mentally fatigued, and you don't give yourself permission to take intentional pauses, your brain will eventually take matters into its own hands. It will create its own micro breaks by disengaging from the external world. Staring into space is an involuntary act of mental rest, a distress signal that your cognitive resources are maxed out. This is a powerful sign that you need what I would call stillness rest, which is a combination of mental and sensory rest. It's your brain's desperate attempt to find a moment of nothingness in a day filled with everything. You're not getting enough unscheduled, unoccupied time, so your brain is carving it out for you, often at inconvenient moments. It's a sign that you need to be more proactive in building moments of quiet contemplation into your daily routine. The solution isn't to fight the zoning out with more caffeine or by trying harder to focus. That's like trying to fix an overheating engine by revving it higher. The solution is to honor the signal and give your brain what it's asking for in a more structured and intentional way. This means scheduling in do-nothing time. Literally, put 5 or 10 minutes in your calendar where your only task is to sit quietly, maybe look out a window, and let your mind wander without guilt. This practice helps to retrain your brain. It learns that it doesn't have to force a shutdown because a planned break is coming. This intentional stillness can feel unproductive at first, especially in our hustle-focused culture. But these pauses are incredibly productive for your long-term well-being and focus. They allow your brain to consolidate information, make new connections, and reset itself, so that when you do need to focus, you can do so more effectively. So, instead of being annoyed with yourself the next time you catch yourself staring into space, try to feel a little bit of gratitude. Your brain is looking out for you. It's telling you exactly what it needs. A pause. Listen to it. Honor that need by building small pockets of intentional stillness into the architecture of your day. By doing so, you'll find you have more control over your focus and feel more present and engaged in the moments that truly matter. So, as we've explored, feeling tired isn't always about a lack of sleep. It's often a much deeper signal from our bodies, minds, and souls that we are depleted in other crucial ways. From emotional and social fatigue to a desperate need for creative or sensory rest, our exhaustion has a language of its own. The key is to stop and listen. Instead of just pushing for more hours in bed, we can start asking ourselves what kind of restoration we truly need to feel whole, present, and energized again. Recognizing these 7 signs is your first step toward a more compassionate and effective approach to self-care. Remember, rest is not a luxury or a sign of weakness. It is a fundamental human need and a radical act in a world that demands our constant productivity. Giving yourself permission to take a mental break, to seek creative inspiration, or to have a moment of quiet stillness is not lazy. It's essential for your health, happiness, and long-term success. It's about working with your body's rhythms, not against them. I hope this gives you a new framework for understanding your own fatigue and empowers you to seek out the specific type of rest you deserve. If this resonated with you, give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who's always tired, no matter how much they sleep. It might be the message they need to hear. For all of us trying to navigate the demands of modern life, let's support each other. Drop a comment. What kind of rest do you need most right now? I'm genuinely curious to read your answers. And don't forget to subscribe for daily health clarity that cuts through the noise. Stay healthy and be kind to yourselves.